There was a very misunderstood young boy whom we'll call Timmy. He was always running around, playing, and getting into trouble because his parents were never home and really didn't care much for him. Timmy was kind of a rough kid who went through some things as a child that made him an angry, cold kid. Timmy felt like the world was his playground now. Speaking of, back at the playgrounds in school, Timmy would get into fights with other kids and gain a little popularity from that, making him feel powerful and getting involved with a bad friend group. So Timmy would start to sneak out and hang out with his friends and get into trouble for breaking windows of cars, taking money. And he was even caught on video vandalizing building and was exposed on social media. His parents found out and would yell and complain of what an embarrassment. His dad would get drunk and beat him later that night. Billy was up all night cleaning up the mess. He missed one day of school because he slept in it became a habit, and he decided he felt like he was too cool for school. So he would often skip school and start hanging out with an older group of boys who would talk Timmy into doing things so they wouldn't get into trouble, and Timmy couldn't tell the boys no, so they knew they had found their own personal lab rat. One day, they are all hanging out, and his so-called friends asked Timmy to try vaping, and he did want to because he knew he wasn't supposed to and wanted to live up to his bad boy lifestyle. But he had a gut feeling telling him not to. But he succumbed to peer pressure and did it so his boys wouldn't think he is lame. But he also didn't tell his boys he has severe asthma either. When the harsh black chemicals and smoke reached his lungs, it attacked him like a mighty giant of attack and knocked him to his knees. He started gasping for air and felt lightheaded. The room was spinning and everything was going black. Someone called the police when they saw Timmy fall while with those two boys stand over him. They thought he was attacked. So when the police arrived, Timmy wasn't able to take any more breaths but could feel his pockets moving and hears his so-called friend say, "You better not rat on us or you're cooked." The policeman says, "What's going on here?" And one of the boys says, "We don't know, sir. He was smoking something when we walked up and he just fell down." The cop did his best to save Timmy's life, but all the lights were fading out. Is this really it? Is Timmy going to die like this just trying to impress others? Luckily, hours later, Timmy wakes up in a hospital room alone, handcuffed to the bed. He started freaking out and was screaming for help. Then the cop waiting outside walked in and said, "We need to talk about this," holding an evidence bag. The officer says, "Where are you getting the stuff? Please work with us before someone else gets killed." Realizing the gravity of the situation, Timmy says, "Gets killed? You're lucky to be alive right now. Don't you want to save others?" Says the policeman. Timmy says, "I don't know what that is or what you're talking about," still trying to cover for his so-called friends. The police officer says, "Okay, if that's the way you want to play, you will be sitting in prison for 2 to 20 years for this little bit of liquid demon." Timmy chokes. "What are you talking about? It's just a vape." The officer shakes his head no. It's not just a vape. It's filled with illegal drugs. There is enough in this vape to kill this whole town. After some interrogation and talking to his parents, he finally gives up those boys. The boys pleaded their cases and said Timmy was offering it to them. And they said no. And they took drug tests and passed, so their story checked out. And Timmy obviously couldn't pass one. Those so-called friends were scared to try that vape and skillfully pinned it on a kid they knew would do anything for a little attention and friendship. And when they saw him collapse, they panicked and put the vape in his jacket pocket. Now Timmy has to waste 15 years behind bars because he couldn't just say no. He fell into peer pressure and it ruined his whole life. But Timmy did not let this keep him down. While Timmy was in prison, he graduated high school and took college classes. Now he does stand up for yourself motivational speeches all across the world and is saving the kids out there that were like him and tries to steer them on the right path before it's too late. If you have a problem, talk about it. It's okay to not be okay, but it is never okay to give in to peer pressure or do anything you don't want to fit into a group. Be yourself, and the rest of the good things in life will come with it.